Okay, so we've got England versus Wales, take two. The teams are just out. I've just had the England team come through here. The Welsh team was out before that. And it's very much a bit more of an experimental Welsh team against more of a maybe first choice English team. So I think the pressure is definitely on England here. They would be hoping to win at home with probably a more established team. If they don't, then I think it could be alarm bells really. So pressure's on England. Wales, if they get another win, huge momentum for them. Let's get into this English team. It's literally just dropped, so I'm kind of reacting live here, but I quite like that. The front row, Marler, George, Stewart. This is their strongest scrummaging front row starting out. So if they don't go well in the scrum, that's big problems. So that's going to be really interesting. On the bench, Theo Dan, can he come on and make an impact? Throwing was a little off, or line out was a little off last time out, full stop. So that's going to want to be improved, but he can definitely make an impact around the park. And Genge coming on, so another good impact player. Cole, not really an impact player, but a decent scrummager. So, okay, a little bit of impact off the bench. They're going to have to start strong in the scrum, so all eyes there. Who goes with Maro Itoje? He was always going to play this game. They're going with George Martin. I thought he had a pretty decent outing last time. Let's see if he can step it up and become an actual second row partner for Maro Itoje. If he steps up and Chesham isn't fit for the World Cup, that could be a big boost for England. So fairly big pressure on George Martin there. Hopefully it goes well. Two very athletic second rows. Martin hits really hard as well, as does Courtney Laws, who's there as the vice-captain, I believe, at number 6. Going to be using the line-out a lot as well. If he's back to his best, that's good news. Who starts at 7? Well, it's Ben Earl. That is interesting. Tom Curry is nursing a hamstring injury, something like that, so he wasn't going to play. It was going to be Ben Earl or Jack Willis, and they've gone with the free-running Earl. Can he actually step up and have a big game in an England shirt? He's been in good form for his club for ages, hasn't broken through for England. Big chance here. And Billy Vunipola, our only specialist number 8, so he's going to have to go well. They say he's as fit as he's ever been. So let's watch his ability, his agility, his speed around the park. That's going to be interesting. Into the backs, they're going Van Poortvliet and Farrell. I wondered if they'd go Youngs, but he's on the bench. So the youngster, he's been okay for England. Can he really be confident and step up and have a big game? Farrell's been in great form. I'm expecting good things from him. And Lawrence and Marchant in the centres. I was expecting Tuolangi. We don't have Tuolangi. That is interesting. Marchant, I think, had his best game for England, actually, last match. And Lawrence has to be in the centres somewhere. He's our young power guy. That's an interesting midfield. Could go okay. On the wings, got plenty of speed. Elliot Daly, Arundel. All eyes will be on Daly's tackling. I think his defence, we know what he can do in attack and his kicking. Arundel, just want to see him confident and really going for it, not being cowed by the occasion. And Freddie Stewart, we can see what he does well. We know he's vulnerable on the turn, so all eyes on him there as well. And on the bench, Johnny Hill, second row replacement. Jack Willis, really strong, a back row replacement. Probably it's going to be Ben Earl moving over to 8 if they need to replace Billy Vunipola, but they like just playing Vunipola because he gets his fitness a lot through playing, so I imagine Vunipola will be given the full 80. Youngs and Ford on the bench, and the versatile Max Malins, which is interesting because it looks like that makes Farrell the replacement centre. Anyway, fairly strong English team, or as strong as they can put out pretty much. Maybe without Tuolangi potentially, and they should be favourites. If they don't win this game and maybe even win well, there's going to be questions. So let's have a look at this Welsh team. Looking at the front row for Wales, and Dewey Lake is there as captain. He's got so much raw physical ability. Can he match it with his set piece? They had a young captain last time out in Morgan, another young captain here. So it looks like Gatland is really changing the guard. Thomas Francis has been around the block. Has he always impressed? Maybe not, so be watching his scrummaging, because these three are going up against England's supposedly best scrummaging front row, so it's going to be an interesting battle there. If they can get the upper hand, that's a huge positive for them. Then we've got the inexperienced Rhys Davis with the experienced Adam Beard. Beard is going to start with someone, and without Alan Wynne-Jones, it's a real slugfest to see who makes it. Maybe Roland is the favourite. Lydiate could be their starting 6. He's been there, done that. Has he quite got the athletic ability he used to? I'm not so sure. Tommy Raffel's going to have to go some to knock off Morgan from that starting open side spot. And Tane Plumtree has a chance maybe of taking this 8. I think Faletau's got an injury going on, so if he plays well, that could be a shock starter for Wales. Into the backs, we've got the exciting Thomas Williams at scrum half and Kieran Hardy, who never lets Wales down, there on the bench as well. Thomas Williams is a class operator. They've got a lot of good 9s to Wales. I mean, Williams could well be the starting 10, and we've got Bigger on the bench, so that's going to be a good battle. Tompkins, one of the more experienced centres, but he's going to be watching over his shoulder. There's lots of other youngsters in this squad looking to knock him off his position. We see another young uncapped player, Joe Roberts, there, and then the smaller centre, Kieran Williams from the Ospreys on the bench. So loads of young centres that Wales are trying. Let's see who makes it to the final cut. Liam Williams is back. He's had a few injuries. Halfpenny looked solid last game, but if Williams is back to his best, I still would start Williams, so hopefully he can get back to his best. Adams again has been a bit off recently, a few injuries. If he can get back to his try-scoring best, then he would be a good man to start on one wing. Rees-Zammit probably starting on the other. He's not playing this match. Tom Rogers gets another run. Haven't seen a huge amount of him. So lots of trials going on in this starting 15 and on the bench. We see Mathis there, uncapped. Schwinzer, it looks like he's covering second row to see if he can be versatile enough to do that. And if he can cover back row and second row, that's almost his spot on the plane or the train guaranteed. Tane Basham burst onto the scene first of all when he played for Wales with amazing attack. Has he got the all-round game? He's back fit now. Let's see if he can make a charge. Lots of young pretenders for this back row. Then I said Hardy and Bigger on the bench and the young Kieran Williams there, and maybe a little small potentially for international level, we will see. So lots of players being tried up against maybe a more established England team or a more experienced England team. If this young Welsh team can get a win, that is huge for them. They've kind of got a shot to nothing in some ways. Let's see if they take it. All the comments on both those teams below, and I'll catch you next time.